Chapter 41 What is internal refining? This is refining the internal organs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The resistance of the Luo family was very fierce, however. They faced the Zhao family's more than 1,500 young men in armor and the 2 monks who had reached the perfection of bone refining. No matter how fierce the resistance is, it will eventually become useless as time goes by. The destruction of the Luo family is a foregone conclusion. If you are willing to sacrifice yourself to death, I might consider letting go of the old and the weak so that the bloodline of your Luo family can continue on this continent. Zhao Wu and Zhao Hong, after forcefully punching the 3rd child of the Luo family, they separated. He stared in front of him with a somewhat cold expression, his face was red, and there were either fist or footprints all over his body. Luo Yong looked extremely embarrassed. He whispered to him. Being killed at the neck. Luo Yong looked at Zhao Wu and Zhao Hong in front of him, and he couldn't help laughing. It seems that your Zhao family hasn't figured out the situation yet. It's not my Luo family who should be killed, but our Zhao family. After the negotiation between Zhao Wu and Luo Yong completely collapsed, 2 brothers, Zhao Wu and Zhao Hong, he began to grow cruel in his heart, and he no longer had any mercy on Luo Yong in front of him. Since everyone in the Luo family is so stubborn and ignorant, then no one can live on this continent. Second brother, use that move. Zhao Wu silently glanced at the second brother Zhao Hong beside him, and said in a low voice. Zhao Hong nodded silently. After keeping a certain distance from Luo Yong in front of him, he squatted down slightly. Clench your right hand into a fist. The right fist was aimed at Luo Yong in front of him in a somewhat weird posture. Is this the Zhao family's punch? Seeing this scene before him, Luo Yong's expression gradually became serious. In the Luo family, there are some top-notch ancestral techniques. The Zhao family naturally also has top-level ancestral techniques. In the Zhao family library pavilion, there are other ordinary and top-notch techniques. The Luo family doesn't particularly care, but this so-called bombing fist is the most destructive and terrifying technique that the Luo family is most afraid of. Although this technique consumes a lot of energy and blood in the body, and after using it once, it will not be used a second time in a short period of time, but among monks of the same level, it is generally extremely rare for monks to be able to withstand the lethality of a bombardment fist. Even on the surface, Luo Yong, as the strongest member of the Luo family, possesses the perfect state of bone refining. No one dared to be careless when it came to this punch. The Zhao family has already taken out their money. Ancestor Changfeng, aren't you going to take action? That while Luo Yong was preparing to defend himself from the punch, he silently looked in the direction of his ancestor's courtyard, and just when Luo Yong gritted his teeth and planned to withstand Zhao Hong's punch, deep in the Luo family, there is a man wearing a white robe and having silver hair. He has a skinny figure and his hands behind his back. The old man exuded a faint aura of indifference all over his body. At this time, it suddenly appeared in front of everyone. When everyone in the Luo family saw the old man, everyone's faces showed a hint of joy, and a big stone in their hearts finally fell to the ground, because they know, as long as his Changfeng patriarch shows up, all problems will be solved easily. As for the people from the Zhao family, when they saw Luo Changfeng, the ancestor of the Luo family, he appeared directly in front of them. The faces of the Zhao family gradually became a little ugly. However, things have reached this point. Even Luo Changfeng, the ancestor of the Luo family, appeared. The people of the Zhao family will not stop annihilating the Luo family because of this. Among all members of the Zhao family, Gao Qi was the only one who was pale, thin, and seemed to have a mediocre appearance. The moment he saw Luo Changfeng, the ancestor of the Luo family, appeared. His face, which was already a bit defeated, couldn't help but turn a little paler. His thin body was a little out of his control at this time, and he was trembling slightly. Although the ancestor of the Luo family just appeared in front of everyone and did not make any moves, but even so, Gao Qi was still keenly aware of it. The situation seemed to be going beyond his expectations bit by bit. I'm not dead, are you surprised? Without looking at the people in the Zhao family in front of him, Luo Changfeng was silent for a moment, and then he said calmly. Ancestor Changfeng, that guy Zhao Hong seems to be using his fist on third uncle. Behind Luo Changfeng, Luo Chuan, who was following silently, saw Zhao Hong's right hand clenched into a fist, and the abnormally bulging muscles on Zhao Hong's right hand. He suddenly prompted. Booming fist. Luo Changfeng narrowed his eyes slightly and silently turned his attention to Zhao Hong. Sure enough, the power of qi and blood in Zhao Hong's body at this time, it was rushing towards his right arm at an extremely fast speed. Second brother, take action quickly and deal with Luo Yong first. Then we'll deal with this old immortal Luo Changfeng. Zhao Wu frowned slightly and shouted anxiously to his second brother Zhao Hong beside him. Even the two brothers Zhao Wu and Zhao Hong were a little slow to react, they already felt something was not right at this time. Brother, don't worry, this Luo Yong will definitely die. After Zhao Hong finished saying this, he raised his head and shouted again, even, nearly 2/3 of the energy and blood in the body. All of it poured into his right arm with a somewhat weird posture. Zhao Hong's right arm also swelled once again due to the injection of a large amount of qi and blood. A more terrifying aura gradually spread over Zhao Hong's body. Call. 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 As Zhao Hong continued to take deep breaths, bursts of hot white mist continued to exhale from his mouth. His right arm had swollen to a terrifying degree. At this moment, he once again shrank back a little. However, just when Zhao Hong wanted to use this accumulated terrifying energy and blood, it carried extremely terrifying power and destructive power. Even a monk who has reached the perfection stage of bone refining can be directly injured seriously with one punch. He had thousands of silver hair, a thin figure, and his hands behind his back. Luo Changfeng stood silently and motionless. At this time, it suddenly started to move. His speed was beyond what anyone could bear with the naked eye. As gusts of breeze came towards him, Luo Changfeng appeared behind Zhao Hong in an instant. I saw that he just slightly raised his skinny right hand and slapped Zhao Hong on the head, but with such a simple movement. Zhao Hong's head was like an exploding watermelon, flying in all directions. Red blood spurted everywhere, and white brains were spread all over the ground. Zhao Hong's body has not yet fallen, and the punch carrying terrifying power and terrifying destructive power has not yet been punched. He possesses the perfect state of bone refining and leads a big man with about 5,000 people in the village. At this moment, he suddenly fell into the Luo family's clan. Chapter 42. A slap in the face and bone refining is complete. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qingshi Town, the land of the Luo family. Time seemed to have frozen at this time. Zhao Hong's sudden death was beyond everyone's expectations, except for Gao Qi. It seems, no one could have imagined that Zhao Hong would end like this. No one could have imagined that the ancestor of the Luo family would possess such terrifying strength. No one could have imagined that the ancestor of the Luo family could rely on his body with gradually depleted energy and blood to forcibly break through to the realm of organ refining above bone refining. The realm of viscera refining is viscera refining on top of bone refining. In Qingshi Town, even if we push forward for thousands of years, no one can improve their cultivation to the realm of organ refining above bone refining, and this Luo family ancestor, Luo Changfeng, he was actually able to rely on his aging body. He changed his fate against the will of heaven, broke through the Zhang refining process, and gained an extra 20 years of life. Even if this was told to the Zhao family and those in Qingshi Town in advance, how many people would believe it? Compared to the ancestor of the Luo family, his cultivation level has broken through to the realm of organ refining, which is above bone refining. Everyone in Qingshi Town will naturally believe even more that the Luo family wants to use this false news to dispel the Zhao family's idea of taking action against the Luo family. This gives the Luo family a glimmer of hope to continue to survive on this continent. Refining the internal organs. You, an immortal thing like you, have actually reached the realm of organ refining above bone refining? How is this possible? No way, this is impossible. Fake, this is fake, this must be fake. You must be deceiving me, you are deceiving me. In front of him, his brother Zhao Hong suddenly died beside him. As the current head of the Zhao family, Zhao Wu couldn't help but widen his eyes and his pupils suddenly shrank. For a moment, he couldn't bear such a huge blow. Fake, this is fake. Ha ha ha, this is fake. Zhao Wu's face was full of madness, and he burned all the energy and blood in his body. His fists were clenched, and his arms expanded slightly. He wanted to wave his fists and use the Zhao family's box bottom pressing technique to punch. Kill this old immortal thing in the Luo family in front of you with one punch. It's just a pity that, under the suppression of absolute power, whether it is Zhao Hong who is in the state of perfect bone refining, or Zhao Wu who is in the state of perfect bone refining, neither of them could escape the fate of death. Puff, some dull sound suddenly sounded in the Luo family again, the flesh and blood that shattered into countless pieces once again spattered in the Luo family. As time passed, the smell of blood gradually spread, the two headless corpses beside Luo Changfeng also slowly fell to the ground one after another at this moment. I originally wanted you to live a few more days, but why do you have to seek death? That looking at the two headless corpses on the ground, Luo Changfeng couldn't help but wave his blood-stained right hand, then he glanced at Luo Yong, the third eldest son of the Luo family, who was slightly dazed and seemed to have been stunned. He looked at the current head of the Luo family, Luo Ping, who still seemed a little worried, and Luoan, the second eldest son of the Luo family, stood next to Luo Ping. His face a little pale, and he didn't know what he was thinking. In the end, Luo Changfeng shifted his gaze to the nearby place and stood silently, on the little guy Luo Chuan who always had an unchanging expression and a slight smile on his face. Unexpectedly, in this huge Luo family land, only this little guy Luo Chuan is more reliable. You can handle the next thing by yourselves. Luo Changfeng silently walked to Luo Chuan's side, stretched out his right hand that had no trace of blood on it, and patted the little guy on the shoulder. After that, he slowly disappeared from everyone's sight. Ancestor Changfeng was really cruel this time. Slap to death a monk who has reached the perfection of bone refining. Luo Chuan looked at the direction in which his ancestor Luo Changfeng left, then, he looked at the two headless corpses on the ground, and he couldn't help but shudder slightly. After experiencing this incident, Luo Chuan understood the horror of the Zong refining realm for the first time, although Patriarch Changfeng had told him before. There is a very big gap between the realm of organ refining and the realm of bone refining. In his mind, he also had a rough estimate of the strength of Patriarch Changfeng, but who could have imagined that a monk who had just broken through the Zong refining realm could be so terrifying. A slap in the face makes the bone refining perfection, and the monks in the bone refining perfection state don't even have a chance to fight back. Now that this monk in the Zong refining realm is so terrifying, Luo Chuan doesn't think there's anything wrong with him. Third uncle, don't be stunned. It's time to deal with the problems left by the Zhao family. Luo Chuan took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. He walked silently to his third uncle Luo Yong and whispered to him. I know. Luo Yong swallowed and nodded slightly. Afterwards, he took the elite servants of the Luo family and began to deal with the more than 1,500 armored young men brought by the Zhao family, but without the leadership of Zhao Wu and Zhao Hong. The more than 1,500 young men were all wearing armor and holding steel swords. It is also difficult to compete with the terrifying Luo family. A monk who has reached the stage of perfecting Zong refining and bone refining may seem very powerless. But if you just face these ordinary people wearing armor, after completing the bone refining process, one can be called the god of killing who has emerged from the region. Even a pair of 100, 200, or even 300 can easily kill them. Therefore, Luo Yong led a group of Luo family's elite servants and killed these more than 1,500 armored young men for several rounds. Luo Yong alone killed nearly 100 people. These armored young men finally collapsed completely, and he was easily recruited by Luo Yong and the elite servants he controlled. Now that these people have solved it, what should we do next? That after getting rid of the armored young man left behind by the Zhao family, Luo Yong wiped his blood-stained face. Returning to the Luo family, he silently looked at his nephew Luo Chuan in front of him and asked in a low voice, as for why he didn't ask his eldest brother Luo Ping. You see, at this time, his eldest brother Luo Ping seems to be still immersed in the shock just now and has not recovered. Among the three brothers of the Luo family, the eldest brother Luo Ping has become the head of the family. His eldest brother Luo Ping did handle the various trivial matters within the family very well, but if you have questions about the general direction of the family, his eldest brother Luo Ping is not so good. Fortunately, his nephew seems to be pretty good anyway. Luo Yong is quite fond of this guy Luo Chuan. Now that the hatred has been completely forged, it has reached an irreversible level. Next, the troops will naturally surround the Zhao family and uproot the Zhao family. But as he said that, Luo Chuan couldn't help but narrowed his eyes slightly. There were flashes of thought in his eyes. But what? Luo Yong asked. Luo Chuan, however, I always feel that I seem to have missed something very important. Chapter 43 The Reversal of Polarity. the end of the Zhao family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What am I missing? Those remnants of Black Tiger Village who have not been brought into Qingshi town. Is there any bloodline left in the Zhao family outside? No, these don't seem to be. Luo Chuan shook his head silently. Just as he kept thinking, a figure suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. The figure was pale, thin, and average in appearance. If you put it in a crowd, you might not be able to recognize it. But it happened that such a person got into the armored young men who were recruited by the Luo family. All of this brought a great sense of disobedience to Luo Chuan. Yes, it can't be wrong, it's him. Black Tiger Village was able to develop so rapidly in a short period of time, and annexed other cottages to grow to what it is today. There must be someone behind this Black Tiger Village who is making suggestions. Luo Chuan was thinking as he silently walked towards Gao Qi, who seemed to want to hide in the crowd. As the strongest member of the Luo family, Luo Yong possesses the perfect state of bone refining. The nephew in front of him kept walking towards the armored young men who had just been recruited in front of him. He sighed helplessly and could only follow closely. His eldest brother Luo Ping is basically useless. There is a high probability that the future of the Luo family will fall on this little guy Luo Chuan. Therefore, he had to protect this kid. Don't let any accidents happen to it. Is that you? Looking at Gao Qi, who was lean and looked miserable, Luo Chuan asked in a low voice. Just for Luo Chuan's inquiry, Gao Qi did not respond immediately. That's right, it must be you. Luo Chuan stared at Gao Qi in front of him, but this time, Gao Qi seemed to be unable to escape or fooled around. In desperation, he could only raise his head silently, pretending to be confused, and said, "Sir, I don't know what you are talking about, Gao Qi's voice was slightly trembling. The look of confusion on his face was also disguised quite well. It's just a pity that he was facing Luo Chuan from the Luo family. Before Luo Chuan could wait for Gao Qi in front of him to finish speaking, he directly pulled out the sharp blade beside him, his third uncle Luo Yong's waist. He slashed directly at Gao Qi's neck. The dull sound of the sharp blade cutting across his neck appeared again. A head with widened eyes and a look of disbelief slowly rolled on the ground, among the people at the scene, let alone Gao Qi, who had his head chopped off with a knife. Even Luo Yong, who was standing beside Luo Chuan and guarding him silently, had a look of surprise on his face at this time. What are you doing? Luo Yong looked at Luo Chuan, whose face was stained with blood and whose eyes were calm and somewhat unusual. He was silent for a moment, and then suddenly asked. There is something not right about the development speed of Black Tiger Village. I feel that someone behind Black Tiger Village is making suggestions. And this person's existence is a bit too inconsistent. When he was talking to me, although his words were slightly trembling, the look of doubt on his face was also perfect. But deep in his eyes, he was extremely calm. Then do you think this person is the one standing behind Black Tiger Village and making suggestions? Luo Yong asked again. Probably, Luo Chuan said, inserting the sharp blade in his hand back into the waist of his third uncle Luo Yong, and whispered. However, in this troubled world, even if he really kills the wrong person, if you kill someone, so what? Compared to our Luo family, a person's life is insignificant. Third uncle, you shouldn't care about me, right? Luo Yong, no. After completely integrating the armored young men brought by the Zhao family, the next thing that needs to be dealt with is the remaining Zhao family members in Qingshi town. Father, do you want to go with us? Luo family land. On an open space, Luo Chuan silently walked to his father Luo Ping's side, even though he knew that there was a high probability that his father would not personally deal with the remaining members of the Zhao family, but he still asked this question to his father. The Zhao family has fallen, and there are still a lot of things within the clan that I need to deal with. It's up to you and your third uncle to go together for this matter. Luo Ping forced himself to smile slightly. He reached out and patted his son, who seemed to be becoming more and more unfamiliar. In that case, let's do it according to father's wishes. After saying that, Luo Chuan walked out of the Luo family land alone. Luo Yong, who was still in the Luo family, saw that his extremely outstanding nephew had already left. He could only bring a group of elite servants who he personally trained to follow Luo Chuan closely to protect his life. Due to the matter between the Luo family and the Zhao family, the resolution was a little too fast. Therefore, in addition to the Zhao Luo family, there are two other major families in Qingshi town, the Jing family and the Nahu family. At this time, the news that the Zhao family is about to die and the Luo family is about to rise strongly has not yet been received. Qingshe town, outside the Zhao family. At this time, Huda, the current head of the Hu family, was waiting silently outside the gate of the Zhao family land with his son Hu Min. The two members of the Hu family seemed to want to wait until the Zhao family wiped out the Naoyuo family. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he handed over the market in his hands and brought double happiness to the Zhao family. In this way, the Hu family not only left a good impression on the Zhao family, moreover, the Zhao family owed their Hu family a favor. If this continues, as long as the Zhao family becomes stronger and stronger, the Hu family's position in Qingshe town will also become more stable. Later, after we enter Zhao's house, what can be said and what cannot be said? Do you know everything in your heart? Outside the Zhao family, Huda once again asked his son Hu Min beside him in order to be safe at this time. Father, don't worry, my son knows. Hu Min bent down slightly and nodded. Between families, what is more important than human relationships is marriage. So, if you have the chance, you must mention this matter to the head of the Zhao family. After Huda glanced at the respectful son Hu Min beside him, he once again emphasized in a low voice to Hu Min beside him. Father, don't worry, my son knows it well. Hu Min nodded silently again, and just when Huda seemed to want to continue saying something, from a direction not far away, the sound of footsteps suddenly came. The matter with the Luo family was resolved so quickly, that although Huda was a little surprised by this, it did not stop him from wanting to show courtesy to the Zhao family. Get ready and wait for the head of the Zhao family to come over later. Let's follow the head of the Zhao family and enter the Zhao family's land together. Yes, my son understands. Hu Min nodded again. Chapter 44 Huda's Panic, Reaping the Fruits of Victory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qingshe town, outside the Zhao family, as the current head of the Hu family, Huda is stooping lower and lower, the smile on his face and the pleasing look. At this time, it couldn't help but become more intense, and just as the sound of footsteps got closer, Huda could even vaguely see the blurry figures in the distance. Huda and Hu Min behind him couldn't help but silently step forward. It seemed that he wanted to greet the Zhao family members in advance, but, the next scene happened, the smile and flattery on Huda's face stopped. He was a little stunned, a little dumbfounded. What about those people from the Zhao family? Where it goes? Why is it Luo Yong, the third son of the Luo family, who is walking in front? What's going on with this? Something's wrong. When Huda saw this scene, he couldn't help but frown slightly and kept thinking in his heart. Is it possible that the third son of the Luo family surrendered to the Zhao family? Then the Zhao family used some mysterious means to control Luo Yong's life. Yes, it should be what I thought. Huda couldn't help but nodded silently when he thought of this. However, when that large group of people completely appeared in front of him, and after walking towards him, Huda was completely confused, because among that large group of people, it seemed that apart from the Luo family, there was no one from any other family. Where have the Zhao family gone? Outside the Zhao family, Huda's face gradually became serious and ugly. The development of things seemed to be beyond his expectation. He originally thought that the battle between the Zhao family and the Luo family would happen. The winner will definitely be the Zhao family. After all, the Zhao family has more than 2,000 armored young men and 2 monks who have reached the perfection of bone refining. On the other hand, there is only 1 monk in the Luo family who has reached the perfection of bone refining. The number of elite servants available is estimated to be no more than 500. Even if the ancestor of the Luo family named Luo Changfeng is not dead yet, the Luo family has not yet collapsed. Facing such a terrifying Zhao family, what can the Luo family do to compete with them? However, it seems now, the Zhao family seem to be the losing party. The Luo family is the winner among the Zhao and Luo families. Things are a bit troublesome. The Luo family seems not as simple as I imagined. Until this moment, Huda, the current head of the Hu family, one of the 4 major families in Qingshe town, finally saw the current situation clearly. Father, what should we do next? Behind Huda, Hu Min, who was also slightly bent over, couldn't help asking. What should we do? Huda glanced at Hu Min behind him. He couldn't help but said with a wry smile, now, our Hu family can only take one step and take a look, but... However, no matter what, the market in the hands of my Hu family can never be saved. After a while, under the protection of Luo Yong and the elite servants of the Luo family, Luo Chuan still had a slightly childish look on his face. At this time, we finally arrived at the Zhao family. Oh. Isn't this the head of the Hu family? What do you want to do by staying here? Could it be those people who want to welcome the Zhao family? Luo Chuan looked at Huda and Hu Min, who were slightly bent over in front of him. He whispered to him calmly. You misunderstood. Although Huda was a little confused that the person speaking in front of him was Luo Chuan and not Luo Yong, but in this situation, he still knew how to bow his head and give in. Did I really misunderstand? Luo Chuan couldn't help but narrow his eyes slightly. Xiao Chuan, we are going to go on a killing spree anyway, why not deal with the Hu family as well? Next to Luo Chuan, Luo Yong, who was as strong as a tiger and a wolf, and who vaguely exuded waves of evil aura, couldn't help but suggest with a cold face. What third uncle said makes sense. Luo Chuan nodded silently, then he looked in front of him again, with his waist bent and his head lowered. Huda's forehead was covered with a large amount of sweat, and his whole body was trembling slightly. Luo Chuan couldn't help but smile, and then said, what the third uncle said does make some sense, but today my Luo family already has a target for annihilation, and then there will be more killings. Isn't it a little bad? Will the people in Qingshi town say that I, the Luo family, are too cruel? Luo Chuan lowered his head slightly, pretending to be thinking, and that Luo Yong is behind Luo Chuan. Seeing this scene, he almost couldn't help laughing. His nephew is really bad. At the beginning, although the Hu family spared some harsh words among the Luo family, there was also some unhappiness between the Hu family and the Luo family. However, this Hu family's crime is not worthy of death. Now, his nephew Luo Chuan is actually scaring Huda like this. What exactly is on my mind? How could Luo Yong not know? Under the threat of genocide, Huda's legs weakened and he knelt directly on the ground. A look of fear and uneasiness flashed across his face. If the Luo family is willing to let my Hu family live, I will. My Hu family. As he spoke, Huda couldn't help but choked up a little as he spoke. I, the Hu family, offer all the markets controlled by the family, half of the family assets, and all the books in the family library. Huda's voice echoed slowly outside the Zhao family. When Luo Chuan heard this, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. His original intention was to take over all the markets in the hands of the Hu family and belong to the Luo family. Unexpectedly, there would be additional gains this time. Not bad, really good. After solving the problem on the Hu family's side, next, what needs to be focused on is the Zhao family. Uncle Third, what happens next depends entirely on you. Zhao family land. Outside the closed door, Luo Chuan said in a low voice to his third uncle Luo Yong beside him with a rather calm expression. Don't worry, I'm the best at this kind of thing. Luo Yong responded somewhat casually. He directly took the elite servants with him and forced open the gate of the Zhao family land. They rushed towards the Zhao family's territory quickly. As time flows, just a few breaths, in the Zhao family's territory, screams, begging for mercy, and curses rang out one after another. A somewhat unpleasant smell of blood gradually spread from the Zhao family's land. A little blood slowly flowed along the ground to Luo Chuan's feet. Please, save my life, save my life. What did I do wrong? Why do you want to kill me? That I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but a middle-aged man who looked extremely honest and simple. Suddenly, he ran to Luo Chuan's side from the interception of the Luo family's servants. Even, under the threat of life, the man also knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing to Luo Chuan. Boom. Bang bang. Bang bang bang. In this huge Zhao family area, the sounds of kowtows could be heard one after another. Young master, I'm sorry. It would be remiss of us to allow this person to approach you. Suddenly, a servant of the Luo family ran over. He reached out and grabbed the man's clothes, and lifted him up easily. After that, the servants of the Luo family and the simple middle-aged man. Soon he disappeared from Luo Chuan's sight. Is this an accident? Looking at the direction where the servant and the simple man disappeared, Luo Chuan couldn't help but narrowed his eyes slightly. It was only when he was keenly aware that his third uncle's eyes were always locked on him, he seemed to understand the truth of the matter. Chapter 45 Prince. A Scholar's Song. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This killing lasted for half an hour. At this time, the land of the Zhao family was already filled with rivers of blood and mountains of corpses. The smell of blood was even strong enough to make people feel a little uncomfortable. Third uncle, is the matter with the Zhao family over? Luo Chuan looked at Luo Yong, who was gradually walking towards him, and he asked aloud, basically everything has been resolved. About? Luo Chuan couldn't help but frown slightly. He didn't quite understand. What did he mean by this? In the Zhao family, all clan members over the age of 6 have been dealt with. Those under the age of 6, I have had them gathered together. Next, I want to hear your opinion. What do you think is the best way to deal with those people? As Luo Yong spoke, he silently watched all the changes in the expression of the nephew beside him. Ask me. Luo Chuan turned his head and looked at Luo Yong beside him, looking at those holding steel knives. Their bodies were covered in blood. The servants of the Luo family were filled with murderous aura. Luo Chuan couldn't help but lowered his head slightly and fell into deep thought, until, after thinking for a moment, then he looked at his third uncle Luo Yong again and whispered, "Third uncle, you know me. I have a kind heart and cannot bear to see such a bloody scene." What do you mean? You want to let those people in the Zhao family live? Luo Yong frowned slightly, and a hint of disappointment gradually appeared in his eyes. No, I mean, wait until I leave this Zhao family land first, and it won't be too late for you, third uncle, to take action. Luo Yong, it takes about as long as a cup of tea. Luo Chuan then left the Zhao family, but this time, except for Huda and Humin, Luo Chuan no longer had any guards around him. In Qingshe town today, the Zhao family has fallen, and it is a foregone conclusion that the Luo family will ascend the throne and become the new king. Although this little guy Luo Chuan is only in the early stage of skin refining, his strength is not very strong, but Luo Yong felt that in this Qingshe town, it should be that no one dares to use any crooked ideas against the people of the Luo family. Unless that person wants to drag his family with him to be buried together. Huda, right? Outside the Zhao family, the silent Luo Chuan suddenly whispered to the respectful Huda behind him. Yes, Huda nodded repeatedly. Luo Chuan, those words you just said should still count, right? It counts, it must count, Huda responded with a slightly panicked expression. Luo Chuan, then are you dissatisfied with my Luo family? I dare not. How dare I, the Hu family, have the slightest dissatisfaction? If the Luo family spares my Hu family's life, it is already a gift. Luo Chuan, oh. Are these words you said true? Yes, of course it is true. As Luo Chuan and Huda chatted, you said something and I said something. Luo Yong, who had solved everything, finally led people towards Luo Chuan. The matter has been resolved, you can go back first. I'll take care of that old guy. Yu Jun sighed. Luo Yong slightly suppressed the murderous intention in his body and calmly said to his nephew Luo Chuan in front of him. In that case, I'll trouble my third uncle. Luo Chuan lowered his head slightly, and then walked silently in the direction of the Luo family. In the huge Qingshe town, the biggest enemy of the Luo family is the Zhao family. After the fall of the Zhao family, it was easy for the Luo family to solve some of the trivial matters left behind by the Zhao family. For example, Yu Jun is the current mayor of Qingshe town. If you want to control it, just a little threat can achieve this goal. For example, the Hu family is one of the 4 major families in Qingshe town. Even before the Luo family could take action against him, they obediently handed over all the markets they controlled, half of the family's assets, and all the books in the family library. Of course, except for the Hu family, there is one family that the Luo family still needs to deal with, and that is the Jing family. Gambling houses are very profitable, even if the Luo family doesn't like gambling very much. No matter what, the gambling house cannot be controlled by the Jing family. In the blink of an eye, another day passed, because Qingshe town fell into the hands of the Luo family. Therefore, the closed city gate of Qingshe town was finally opened. The news of the fall of the Zhao family spread quickly at this moment. Outside Qingshe town, in a hidden and unknown deep mountain, the village of Haifeng village stands here. And when the leader of Haifeng village named Haimahu learned the news, his expression gradually became a little strange. Black-haired tiger Xiongqi, although he is not a particularly smart person, but since he was able to create such a copycat with his own hands, and it is still able to survive to this day, he can still see some obvious things. For example, the people behind the Black Tiger village, which has been competing with their Black Wind village, are the Zhao family. Xiongqi already knew this a while ago. In order to control Qingshi town, the Zhao family gave up their struggle with Haifeng village, directly leading almost all the elites in Black Tiger village into Qingshi town. Xiongqi also knew this matter very well, but something he didn't expect was, the Zhao family has more than 2,000 armored young men, and there are also 2 monks who have reached the perfection stage of bone refining, but he was still killed by the Qingshi Zhenluo family. Even the family was uprooted. One can imagine what this incident means. In the land of the Luo family, it is very likely that there are terrifying beings from the Zong refining realm sitting there. Inside Black Wind village, in a hall, the black-haired tiger males sat quietly on the main seat, thinking like this in their hearts. After all, beyond this explanation, there seems to be no other reason that can be explained. Why was the Zhao family exterminated by the Luo family despite having such a huge advantage? Sir, there is a refining viscera in the Luo family. And the place where our Black Wind village is located is not far from Qingshi town. If you are not careful, you may face a disaster. What do you think we should do next? Should we stay away from Qingshi town and continue development in another place, or should we live in peace with the Luo family in Qingshi town? Black Wind village, in the dimly lit hall, Xiongqi, who was bare-chested and covered with black hair on his chest, frowned slightly, while looking at the handsome scholar named Chu Yan in front of him. He asked in a low voice. The existence of Zong refining realm is indeed terrifying, but the scholar Chu Yan was talking and suddenly paused for a moment. I saw that he was smiling. Step by step, he walked towards the direction of Xiongqi. He whispered in his ear, however, the prince will not allow a family force like the Luo family to rise strongly in Huaishui County. So, you can neither stay away from Qingshi town nor live in peace with the Naoluo family. What you can do is to continuously harass the development of the Naoluo family while continuing to strengthen yourself. Xiongqi looked a little embarrassed, but, there is Zong refining in the Luo family. In response, Chu Yan shook his head with a smile and whispered, so what if you have Zong refining? Your Majesty's intention is not for you to attack the Qingshi Zhenluo family. Your Majesty's intention is only for you to restrict the Qingshi Zhenluo family. Just the development of the family. Although the Gale dynasty has not completely collapsed, the collapse of the Gale dynasty has been intensifying. Under such circumstances, it is important to choose the right force to follow. Xiongqi, you probably don't want the prince to disappoint you, right? Chapter 46 Dealing with Wang Kuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Going against a force with Zong refining realm was obviously not a rational decision, but it seems that he, the black-haired tiger Xiongqi, has no other choice. From the very beginning, he had been bound to the same worship as the prince mentioned by scholar Chu Yan. That prince has risen strongly, and the rest of his life will be smooth sailing. If he was not careful, he would make the mysterious prince unhappy. Xiongqi's future will also become difficult. Okay, I will continue to oppose the Luo family of Qingshi town and continue to contain the development of the Luo family. Xiongqi was naked and covered in black hair, sighing slightly helplessly. He looked at the scholar Chu Yan in front of him and whispered, Chu Yan, this choice of yours is very wise. In the blink of an eye, another day passed. In the early morning, when the sky is not completely bright yet, Qingshi town, the land of the Luo family, in a courtyard exuding a quaint atmosphere, as the only ancestor of the Luo family, Luo Changfeng had already woken up early. Sitting quietly under a stone pavilion, he held a book Introduction to Alchemy in his hand and kept flipping through it. Wang Kuan. A registered disciple of the branch of Wandan sect. Am I right? While Luo Changfeng looked at the book in his hand, he looked calmly at the man next to him who also had white hair and a face full of wrinkles. The old man, who seemed to be not much younger than Luo Changfeng, said in a low voice. Yes, Wang Kuan stood aside silently, straightening his back as much as possible. Let the confrontation between himself and Luo Changfeng prevent him from falling into a disadvantage. A while ago, did you become the exclusive doctor in the Zhao family? Is it you who spread the news that my end is approaching and I will die soon? Wang Kuan, so what if it is? So what if it's not? Oh. So stubborn. Are you really not afraid of death? As Luo Changfeng spoke, he finally put down the book in his hand, he turned his head and silently looked at Wang Kun beside him, a cold light flashed through his eyes. You dare to kill me? Wang Kun didn't believe that Luo Changfeng dared to do something to him, no matter what. He is a member of the Wandan sect, even if he is just a named disciple among the countless branches of the Wandan sect. His identity lies in this small Qingshi town, it is still extremely noble and noble. You are just a registered disciple among the countless branches of the Wandan sect. Even if I really kill you, what will happen? You don't really think that just by relying on your humble and lowly life, you can induce the Wandan sect to send out its power to destroy our Qingshi Zhenlua family, right? If you really think so, then I can only say that you are a little too naive. As Luo Changfeng's words fell, in the courtyard, under the stone pavilion, the atmosphere between the two suddenly became a little uncomfortable. Luo Changfeng, who was sitting quietly on a stone bench, still looked calm at this time and his face did not change, and the old man Wang Kun stood silently next to Luo Changfeng. At this time, his eyes gradually showed a little fear and uneasiness. Although he was reluctant to admit it, the fact was that what Luo Changfeng said was correct. The Wandan sect is indeed a behemoth. Even if the Gale dynasty at its peak faced the Wandan sect, there was still a gap between Chen Chen and Haoyue, not to mention that Wang Kun is just a small registered disciple in the countless branches of Wandan sect. Even though he is a registered disciple of the Wandan sect's main sect, after death, it will not cause much fluctuation. A named disciple, to put it nicely, is a disciple. To put it bluntly, he was just a handyman in the sect. Even if he really died, so what? Just change a batch and you're done. Have you figured it out now? After seeing Wang Kun's expression beside him changing constantly, it was as if he was changing his face. Luo Changfeng silently picked up a cup of hot tea placed on the stone table, put it to your mouth and drink it in one gulp. Then, he turned his head, looked at Wang Kun beside him and asked in a low voice. Think clearly. Wang Kun slightly lowered his head that should have been extremely proud. So, tell me now, do you want to die or live? Wang Kun, I want to live, I want to live. In view of your previous actions, you should have been beheaded when you were in the Zhao family's land. But you also know that I have a kind heart. I can give you a way to survive, but you must express your own personal value. I am the only one who thinks that you can bring enough benefits to my Luo family while you are alive. I can let you survive in my Luo family. Luo Changfeng slowly put down the empty teacup in his hand and looked at Wang Kun beside him as he spoke, his words full of humiliation. However, for Luo Changfeng's various humiliations, Wang Kun didn't dare to resist in any way, and he didn't even have the courage to think about it in his heart. Wang Kun's pride was completely shattered by the questions and answers between Luo Changfeng and him. A registered disciple within the Wandan sect's countless branches. In Luo Changfeng's eyes, his life was actually not much different from that of those refugees whose lives were lower than grass. I can make pills. I can refine many precious elixirs for the Luo family. Luo Changfeng looked at Wang Kun next to him with some contempt, and whispered, what you call alchemy, do you mean to refine precious herbs into inferior elixirs that are even less effective than eating the herbs raw? I still have many precious books on the art of alchemy with me. I still have 3 complete elixir recipes with me. As long as I follow the elixir recipes, I can refine the elixir. In response, Luo Changfeng nodded with satisfaction and said in a low voice, those books and the 3 complete elixir recipes you mentioned are quite good. However, even if you die, I can still get these things. So in the end, Wang Kun, are you still not able to express your own personal value? Luo Changfeng looked at Wang Kun beside him who was a little dazed and at a loss, not knowing what to say. He shook his head with some disappointment, and then said, Wang Kun, actually I really want to save your life, but your life seems to have no value to our Luo family. Luo Changfeng said, and then he stood up silently. The blood and qi in the body gradually accelerated. His body also gradually exudes a terrifying aura that is unique to the Zong refining realm and is extremely oppressive. Wait a minute. Give me a month, just give me a month. I will definitely be able to realize my value. I can double, no, triple the success rate and quality of the elixir. I can triple the success rate and quality of the elixir. When the time comes, I will definitely be able to bring extremely huge benefits to you and the Luo family. Believe me, I can do it, I will definitely do it. Chapter 47 Huda regrets, something is wrong with the Jing family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Kuan's eyes widened and he kept shouting at the top of his voice. At this time, Luo Changfeng's skinny right hand appeared. It is already infinitely close to Wang Kuan's face. This slap, if it is real, even those who are in the realm of perfect bone refining are bound to die. A month? Luo Changfeng looked at Wang Kuan in front of him calmly. 1 month. Wang Kuan responded in a low voice with a slight tremor in his words. Okay, let's give it a try. Let's see if you can actually do what you said, triple the success rate and quality of the elixir. If possible, let you live. If it doesn't work, you know your outcome. Okay, please step back first. I'll have those precious herbs delivered to you. I hope that within this month, you can do what you said. After saying that, Luo Changfeng silently withdrew his right hand that seemed skinny and weak, but actually contained extremely terrifying power, and sat back on the stone bench. He picked up a book called Introduction to Alchemy, placed on the stone table and read it carefully, and just when Wang Kuan was about to leave this courtyard, Luo Changfeng seemed to have thought of something, and spoke to Wang Kuan again. By the way, remember to record all the memories about the alchemy technique in your body and in your mind. These things are useful to me. Wang Kuan, I understand. As Wang Kuan gradually disappeared from Luo Changfeng's sight, after leaving this yard completely, only then did Luo Changfeng focus on the book in his hand. There is not much time left for him, there are still about 10 days until the next full moon night. If within these 10 days, he could not solve or suppress the extreme cold disease in the little girl Luo Yue's body, that little girl Luo Yue will definitely die. Call. This pressure is really a bit intense. I've been reading Introduction to Alchemy for more than 10 or 20 days, but I haven't even touched the threshold of getting started. Is it possible that I really don't have any talent for alchemy? That while Luo Changfeng looked at the book in his hand, he silently questioned his talent in alchemy. Time flies, in a blink of an eye. It was noon. At this time, a scorching sun hung high in the sky, and the warm sunlight shone uninterruptedly on this continent, temporarily drive away the cold feeling in winter. This situation also made the refugees in Qingshi town wearing shabby clothes finally feel much better. Qingshi town, the land of the Hu family, in the room where the head of the Hu family is. At this time, Huda, the current head of the Hu family, was sitting quietly on the throne. What can be seen with the naked eye is that Huda's expression seems a little cold and a little ugly at this time. In front of Huda, there were 2 people standing silently and motionless. One of them is the current young master of the Hu family, Hu Min. The other was one of Huda's many sons, although it still looks a bit immature now, but between his brows and eyes, you can vaguely see how handsome this young man will look when he grows up. Father, why did you call your son here? As the current young master of the Hu family, Hu Min seemed to be unable to bear the depressive atmosphere in the room at this time, so, he walked forward silently. He cautiously glanced at his father's somewhat unpleasant expression and asked in a low voice. What's the matter? When Huda heard this, he couldn't help but sneered. You have the nerve to ask me, what's the matter? Don't you know the bad things you did yourself? Seeing this, Hu Min became more and more confused. Father, my son, I don't understand what you are saying. Don't you understand yet? Huda looked at the confused Hu Min in front of him and felt a little angry. I saw him take a deep breath. After brewing his emotions for a while, Huda stared at Hu Min in front of him with a somewhat cold expression. He said coldly, a while ago, my Hu family went to the Luo family and asked for a marriage. Do you still remember? Hu Min nodded repeatedly and said, remember, my son will certainly remember. Huda, just remember. Judging from the situation of the Luo family at that time, the marriage between our Hu family and the Luo family was something that was bound to happen. But it was because of you that the marriage between our Hu family and Luo family failed. Tell me, how should I punish you? Hu Min was confused. He was really confused. He didn't expect that his father would reveal this matter to him again. Moreover, when the marriage fails, he didn't see any disappointed look on his father's face either. Even when the marriage fails, his father once said that it depends on whether the Luo family building rises or collapses. As a result, in the blink of an eye, his father attributed the failure of this matter to him. Hu Min couldn't accept it. He really couldn't accept it. Dad, me. Hu Min seemed to want to say something more, but before he could finish speaking, Huda interrupted him directly. No need to say more, you just need to stay in the tribe honestly. As for this, the position of young master will be held by Hu. Father. Hu Min shouted loudly, he seemed a little dissatisfied. Thank you, father. Next to Hu Min, the young man who seemed to be a little immature looked at Huda with a smile and bowed his head slightly. Time passes quickly, in the blink of an eye, evening came. At this time, the sun was setting in the west, and the afterglow of the setting sun gradually spread over the land. Although this situation is very beautiful, but similarly, as the sun continues to set, the temperature in Qingshe town gradually returns to the icy coldness it should have in winter. Sir, the Jing family is right ahead. After gathering all the troops in Qingshe town and solving all the chaos in Qingshe town, Luo Yong controls all the troops in Qingshe town. At this time, he finally set his sights on the Jing family. The Hu family has donated the market, half of the family's assets, and all the family's book collections. There is no need to pay attention to the Hu family. However, there seems to be something different between the Jing family and the Hu family. Although the Jing family hasn't said anything clearly yet, however, Luo Yong could vaguely feel that the people on the Jing family seemed a little reluctant to hand over the gambling house in their hands so easily. Have you investigated everything clearly? Are those members of the Jing family still within the clan? After a moment of silence, Luo Yong asked in a low voice to the deputy general beside him. Sir, everyone in the Jing family is still within the clan. The deputy general lowered his head slightly and replied with a rather certain expression, Luo Yong, okay, in that case, then follow me and surround the Jing family. I want to see what kind of confidence the Jing family has that they still want to keep their own gambling house. Chapter 48: The Refugee Problem and the Idea of Military Expansion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Jing family of Qingshe town is one of the top families in Qingshe town. The area of their clan is naturally relatively large. If you want to surround them, it will still take a certain amount of time. Sir, the Jing family is surrounded. Next to Luo Yong, the deputy general cupped his hands and said with his head slightly lowered, Luo Yong, okay, if that's the case, then come with me to the Jing family. Armored soldiers, yes. Now, the Zhao family has fallen. In Qingshe town, the Luo family successfully ascended the throne and became the new king. Luo Yong controls nearly 2,000 armored young men in Qingshe town. Solving the Jing family's problems is just a matter of a few seconds. In this case, let alone the Luo family, there is an ancestor from the Zhang refining realm with extremely terrifying strength, so under Luo Yong's coercion. As the current head of the Jing family, Jing Chenglong had no choice but to hand over the gambling shop controlled by his family. After all, this arm can't hold the thigh. Even if the Jing family is really stubborn to the last moment and doesn't hand it over to the Luo family, what's the use? The entire Qingshe town is already under the control of the Luo family. It can even be said that everything in Qingshe town has become the property of the Luo family. As long as the Luo family is willing, those gambling houses will eventually be forcibly taken away by the Luo family. Rather than confronting the enemy head-on, it would be better to simply hand it over. And the reason why the Jing family was unwilling to hand it over at the beginning, the main reason was that Jing Chenglong wanted to take a gamble. Just bet that the Luo family doesn't pay much attention to the gambling industry, but, it seems now that he, Jing Chenglong, seemed to have lost the bet. Dad, did you hand over all the gambling houses owned by our Jing family to the Luo family so easily? All the books in the family and half of the assets will be handed over to the Luo family. You really don't even resist. In the Jing family, Jing Hongying is the daughter of Jing Chenglong. After learning about such a thing, she immediately came to Jing Chenglong. That pretty face seemed a little unconvinced. The red tassel gun he held in his hand also squeaked a little. Hongying, the Zhao family has been exterminated now. It has become an established fact that the Luo family of Qingshe town has ascended the throne and become the new king. Not to mention the more than 2,000 armored young men in Luo Yong's hands. Just the Zhang refining realm monk in the Luo family is not something our Jing family can handle. Jing Hongying gritted her teeth and said unconvinced, is the internal organs refining on top of the bone refining really so terrifying? Jing Chenglong sighed helplessly and whispered, on top of skin refining is bone refining, and on top of bone refining is refining internal organs. If you want to become a monk in the skin refining realm, it's very simple. Although it is somewhat difficult to break through from skin refining to bone refining, it is not impossible. But if you want to break through the bone refining, the difficulty is definitely beyond your imagination. The power of the Zhang refining realm must be far beyond your expectations. I can say this, even if our Jing family has 10 bone refining perfection masters at this time, we are still vulnerable to the ancestors of the Luo family. As Jing Chenglong's words gradually echoed in the room, Jing Hongying was gradually stunned. There was a look of dissatisfaction on her pretty face. At this time it seemed to gradually dissipate. Father, if it's in Qingshi town, the more than 2,000 armored young men are in the hands of our Jing family. Can our Jing family surround and kill the monks in the Zhang refining realm? Regarding this, Jing Chenglong couldn't help but lower his head slightly. After thinking for a moment, he replied, if there are only more than 2,000 strong men in armor with some strength, they are just like ants in front of the monks in the Zhang refining realm. They can be killed at will. If there are more than 2,000 young people wearing armor, they are all monks in the skin refining realm. Perhaps, we can force out a certain amount of strength from the Zhang refining realm monks. If the 2,000 or so young men in armor are all the bone refining realm monks, then there is a chance that they can surround and kill the viscera refining realm monks. It's just that if our Jing family really has an army of more than 2,000 people with a cultivation level of bone refining realm, then why are we still fighting with those families in this bluestone town for small interests? If there are really more than 2,000, they will be an army of bone refining realm monks. It is not impossible for our Jing family to seize a piece of land and establish ourselves as kings in these troubled times. After settling the matter with the Jing family, this is neither big nor small. Qingshi town has finally returned to its former peace. On the streets, people gradually dared to show up. An extremely large number of refugees gradually poured into Qingshi town again. This has added a huge burden to Qingshi town, which is not particularly large. Qingshi town, the land of the Luo family. In the room where the head of the Luo family is, Luo Ping, the current head of the Luo family, was sitting quietly on the throne, while looking through the various things on the table about his family or about Qingshi town. He couldn't help but frown slightly. There is no problem on the Luo family's side. It even ate up the assets left by the Zhao family, as well as the assets of the Jing family and the Hu family. The overall strength has been greatly improved. However, the situation here in Qingshi town seems to be a little less optimistic. As the gate of Qingshi town opens again, time continues to pass. The number of refugees pouring into Qingshi town is gradually increasing. Even due to the influx of large numbers of refugees, the security in Qingshi town has gradually become worse and worse. Countless hungry refugees were like locusts passing through the border, frantically smashing and grabbing all the food they could see. Some local families in Qingshi town are not bad. At least they have a lot of guards at home, who can protect the family without worries, but the huge group of ordinary people in Qingshi town were somewhat unlucky. Those who suffered losses were basically ordinary people. In the past, Luo Ping only needed to manage the Luo family. He can choose to turn a blind eye to those people who have suffered losses. But it's different now. Now the entire Qingshi town belongs to the Luo family. The losses suffered by the people will inevitably affect the subsequent development of Qingshi town. Under this situation, Luo Ping naturally could not continue to turn a blind eye as usual. Otherwise, let the guy named Lao Sen continue to expand his army and increase the number of troops in Qingshi town. Then, slowly maintain the security issues in Qingshi town. Luo Ping thought this in his heart and nodded silently. Nowadays, it seems that apart from this method, there is no other better way. Coincidentally, during this period, the Luo family obtained an extremely large amount of gold and silver from the Zhao family, Jing family, and Hu family. The Luo family can just use this money to expand the number of troops in Qingshi town, and to slightly improve the Luo family's control over Qingshi town. Chapter 49: The Actions of Black Wind Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After receiving the news from the head of the family, Luo Ping, Luo Yong, the third eldest son of the Luo family, possesses the perfect state of bone refining, then they began to rapidly expand their troops in Qingshi town. Of course, this did not mean that they could expand as much as they wanted. The number of troops must also consider whether the amount of money and food in the family is sufficient, and whether the population base in Qingshi town is sufficient. After all, if we really want to expand our army at will and draw 1 out of 10, or 1 out of 5, then how can the Luo family continue to develop Qingshi town? As time flows, in the blink of an eye, another 3 days passed. During these 3 days, the number of refugees in Qingshi town was still growing at an extremely fast rate. The number of troops in Luo Yong's hands is almost increasing by nearly 1,000 every day. In fact, if Luo Yong relaxes the conditions, not to mention 1,000 people a day, even 2,000, 3,000, or even 5,000 people a day, this is not impossible, but in Luo Yong's words, even if those people whose physical condition is not up to standard are recruited, they will not be able to form any effective combat effectiveness. Instead, the Luo family has to provide those people with food, drink, money and food. Under such circumstances, Luo Yong might as well set the conditions higher. In this way, even if the number of refugees that can be recruited every day is smaller, at least as long as they are provided with food and drink, they can still provide some help to the Luo family in a short period of time. At least those new troops can help the Luo family maintain law and order in Qingshi town, right? At noon, at this time, a scorching sun hung high in the sky. The warm sunshine shines on this land, temporarily driving away the harsh cold in winter. In Qingshi town, Luo Yong's army expansion is still continuing. Outside Bluestone town, the Luo family's collection of bluestone veins is still in full swing. It is located outside Qingshi town, deep in the mountains, inside a village called Haifeng Village, in a hall with only 2 people. As the current head of Black Wind Village, the black-haired tiger Xiongqi was wearing a warm tiger fur coat. With 100 forged steel knife shining with cold light beside him, he frowned slightly and sat on the armchair with a slightly uneasy expression. The number of refugees in Qingshi town is increasing. 3 days ago, I heard that the Luo family had begun a massive military expansion. If the Luo family can continue to develop smoothly for a month or 2, the comprehensive strength of the Luo family in Qingshi town can at least be doubled or tripled. In front of the black-haired tiger Xiongqi, the handsome scholar Chu Yan, who was standing silently, looked at Xiongqi in front of him and whispered calmly, "Xiongqi, sir, what do you mean?" "I mean, now is the best time to take action against the Luo family." "Sir, what do you mean by this?" Xiongqi said with a little caution. After all, that was the land of the Qingshi Zhenluo family, that was a family force with a terrifying existence in the Zhang refining realm. If he goes against the Naoyuo family, if he is not careful, Xiongqi may fall into a place of no return. Under such circumstances, there was no room for him not to be extremely cautious. Regarding this, Scholar Tsuyan just smiled slightly. He reached out and lifted his collar. Then, he whispered confidently, "Nowadays, the chaos in the Gale dynasty is becoming more and more serious, and the number of refugees is increasing day by day. Almost every day, a large number of refugees pour into the Bluestone town. And the Bluestone town of the Luo family is just the place where Chuzhang controls the town. He has seen blood on his hands, and the number of usable troops is definitely no more than 2,000. Moreover, these 2,000 soldiers are in order to maintain law and order in Qingshi town. They will never be easily mobilized outside Qingshi town. So, if we choose to send troops at this time, we will kill all those who are mining the bluestone veins in the hands of the Luo family. The development speed of Qingshi town will inevitably be greatly delayed." Chu Yan's words slowly echoed in the hall. Xiongqi was sitting quietly on the main seat, wearing a tiger skin coat and 100 forged steel sword beside him. At this time, he lowered his head slightly and narrowed his eyes slightly. At this time, he seemed to be thinking about the feasibility of Chu Yan's words, and the pros and cons of this action. "Master Xiongqi, are you still hesitating? From the very beginning, you and I have been in the same boat. I can even say that the number of cottages like Haifeng village in the hands of the prince is definitely not less than 10. If you want to stand out from the many copycats, you want to be able to appear in front of the prince. It's not enough to just develop the power of copycats and keep their own standards. There seemed to be a little hesitation between Xiongqi's eyebrows. After Chu Yan was silent for a moment, he spoke again. Xiongqi asked, "Sir, are you sure there is no danger in this matter?" But when Chu Yan heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but laugh out loud in the hall, which was not particularly big and only had 2 people. "Master Xiongqi village, why is it that as this village grows stronger, your courage becomes smaller and smaller? Is there anything in this world that is really foolproof?" Xiongqi, his grandma is just a coward, so he did it. After the discussion between Chu Yan and Xiongqi ended, the plan of those who were collecting the bluestone veins was completely decided by attacking outside the bluestone town. And as time passes again, as time came to late night today, the black-haired tiger Xiongqi, who is the current leader of Haifeng village, and the scholar Cuyan, who is a soldier of Haifeng village and is known as the brains of Haifeng village, the 2 men each brought with them more than 1,000 knife-wielding thieves, quickly rushed towards the location of those bluestone veins. The result is also obvious. It seems that the Qingshi town Luo family did not expect that anyone would dare to attack them at this time. It seems that because the number of refugees in Qingshi town continues to increase, due to the security situation in Qingshi town, it gradually became more and more chaotic. As a result, the number of troops guarding the bluestone veins being mined was extremely limited. Under such circumstances, it naturally resulted, the thieves acted like they were in an uninhabited land, and they were killing with knives crazily. Late at night, a bright and graceful circle hangs high in the sky. Waves of soft moonlight continue to shine. However, it is located outside Bluestone Town, where those bluestone veins are located. At this time, there was already a river of blood and a mountain of corpses. The rich smell of blood gradually condensed into bursts of blood mist. It surrounded them for a long time and could not dissipate. "How's it going, sir? Is everything going well?" After Xiongqi and Chu Yan gathered together, Xiongqi held the 100-forged steel sword in his hand tightly and asked Chu Yan in a low voice with a slightly nervous expression, "Exceptionally smooth." "In fact, some things went smoothly that I didn't expect." Chu Yan narrowed his eyes slightly, staring at the bluestone town in the distance while whispering. "So, as long as the ancestors of the Zhang refining realm and the Luo family don't come out, there's actually nothing special about the Qingshi Zhenluo family, right?" Xiongqi laughed and said, as if he wanted to use these words to offset his fear of the Zhang refining realm monk. Chu Yan looked at the laughing black-haired tiger Xiongqi beside him. His expression was extremely calm. In those bright eyes, there was a look of some thought flashing through. The first attack on the Luo family will be so smooth. Although this was somewhat beyond his expectation, it was still reasonable. But if you want to continue to harass the Luo family for the second time, but it's not as simple as the first time. Chapter 50 What to Do. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Let's go, it's time to go back. Chu Yan felt the cold wind blowing from all directions. He couldn't help but shrink his neck. He whispered to the black-haired tiger male standing next to him. "It's time to go back. Killing these today should be enough." Xiongqi nodded silently, and then seemed to have thought of something, and asked Chu Yan beside him in a low voice, "Sir, what do you think we should do against the Luo family next time? Continue to attack the remaining bluestone veins? Or are you talking about other aspects of the Luo family?" Chu Yan did not answer this question out loud. It's not that he doesn't want an answer, it's that he doesn't know. Let's talk about the next thing later. The future is full of uncertainty. Who knows what the future will be like? As time flows, in a blink of an eye, it was dawn. On the streets of Qingshi town, there are a large number of pedestrians and refugees constantly coming and going. Due to Luoyong's continuous military expansion, there were more and more soldiers maintaining law and order in Qingshi town. Those small stall vendors finally gained the courage to set up stalls to make money in this troubled world. Meat buns, delicious meat buns. Candied haws on a stick, delicious candied haws on a stick. Beggar's chicken with tender meat. On the street, the shouts of vendors continued one after another. Luo Chuan, who was walking silently on the street, saw this. He nodded with a smile. Ever since his Luo family took over Qingshi town, everything in the town seemed to be gradually changing for the better. Gudong. Suddenly, a sound of swallowing came from beside Luo Chuan. Luo Chuan turned his head slightly and could see Lu Qingqing, who had her head slightly lowered and her Face was a little red. Yes, at this time Lu Qingqing had been transferred by Luo Chuan to be a little maid beside him. Lu Qingqing's appearance is very good, and one of them is eye-catching. The second is that Luo Chuan always feels that there seems to be some secret hidden in Lu Qingqing. Logically speaking, if it is just an ordinary person, or maybe according to Lu Qingqing's description, she was just a high-ranking official whose head was beheaded. Many subtle and unconscious manifestations should not be what Luo Chuan saw. Want to eat beggar's chicken? Looking behind him, his eyes glowed slightly, staring at Lu Qingqing at the chicken stall. Luo Chuan's eyes couldn't help but narrow slightly. He asked in a low voice to Lu Qingqing behind him. I don't want to. Lu Qingqing turned her head away and said a little harshly, in fact, she still wants to eat beggar's chicken, although she and her mother were brought into the Luo family by Luo Chuan, but she and his mother were in the Luo family. There is indeed no preferential treatment, and even the treatment is lower than that of some ordinary servants. Don't you want to eat? What a pity. If you said you wanted to eat it, I might buy you one. Really? I think so. Lu Qingqing said excitedly. Luo Chuan responded with a sinister smile and said, it's too late, there's no chance now. After saying that, Luo Chuan walked directly forward. Although Lu Qingqing was a little angry, there was nothing she could do against Luo Chuan. Now she is just a small servant in the Luo family. Is it possible that she can still kill her master? Luo Chuan, Lu Qingqing, and some Luo family servants with certain strength. After this group of people wandered outside for about half an hour, Luo Chuan took the people behind him back to the Luo family. However, as Luo Chuan just stepped into the land of the Luo family, his brows couldn't help but frown slightly. There seems to be something wrong with the atmosphere within the family. Could it be that something happened? That with you thinking in his mind, Luo Chuan quickly walked directly towards the room where his father handled family affairs. Before he entered the room, he could hear the extremely angry curses from his third uncle, and his father's helpless sighs. Father, third uncle, what happened? After entering the room, Luo Chuan walked forward and asked his father and third uncle in front of him. Seeing his son appear, Luo Ping still sat quietly on the main seat, sighing silently. His third uncle took a deep breath, with a little anger on his face, and spoke in detail to the nephew in front of him. Luo Chuan, so, it was the Black Wind village that took advantage of the bluestone mines being mined in the hands of our Luo family. Luo Yong, that's probably it. After the matter was told clearly, the atmosphere in this room became a little depressing again. Before, there were times when Black Tiger Village and other cottages were restraining him. Although the Black Wind Village was also wreaking havoc everywhere, at least it was not so blatant and unscrupulous. But now, Black Tiger Village has fallen. The Zhao family, one of the 4 major families in Qingshi Town, also fell. Although the Luo family successfully ascended the throne and became the new king of Qingshi Town, but outside Qingshi Town, the Black Wind Village has also become a giant. There is no longer any other bandit force that can compete with the Black Wind Village. How does father plan to deal with this matter? After being silent for a long time, Luo Chuan suddenly asked in a low voice to his father Luo Ping in front of him. However, before Luo Ping could tell him the reason, Luo Yong, the third uncle next to Luo Chuan, said directly, if you ask me, our Luo family should destroy the Black Wind stronghold in one fell swoop. Black Wind Village? What is that? The Zhao family, one of the 4 major families in Qingshi Town with hundreds of years of history, was wiped out by my Luo family. Black Wind Village? If you want to crush him to death, it's as easy as crushing an ant to death. What Luo Yong said was not wrong. If we were to simply compete in terms of overall strength, there would be no comparison between the Black Wind Village and the Luo family. But now the biggest question is, the Luo family of Qingshi Town is on the bright side, and the Black Wind Village was in darkness. The land of the Luo family is located in Qingshi Town, but no one knows which hilltop the Black Wind Village is located on. What third uncle said is correct. But, who knows where the Black Wind Village's copycat village is? If we don't know where the Black Wind Village's copycat is, how can our Luo family destroy the Black Wind Village? Luo Chuan glanced helplessly at his third uncle Luo Yong, who had well-developed limbs but a simple mind. He sighed slightly and whispered. Then tell me, what should our Luo family do? Is it possible that the Black Wind Village keeps targeting our Luo family, but our Luo family remains unmoved? Luo Yong's face flushed. and he was a little anxious. His original idea of going out for a try has not changed until now. If the Luo family is really slowed down by this small black wind village, Luo Yong will naturally be extremely unhappy.